Good morning, everyone. Just a couple of observations on the readings that we're looking at today. The first reading is obviously from the letter to the Hebrews, which we've been looking at throughout the week, and also the psalm that we have today. It linked with some of the other readings because they all talk about this guy called Melchizedek. You might also, who was Melchizedek? He was an interesting character because he's listed as being a king and as well as a priest, in fact, a high priest. And yet, in the scriptures, in the book of Genesis, we don't find any indication of where he came from or what happened to him afterwards. And that's why they sort of say, well, is he, the precursor of Jesus? Because he had no beginning and no end. One of the important similarities is that Melchizedek offered a sacrifice of bread and wine. Which you can see the link is very important when it comes to our Mass, the offering of bread and wine. And in addition to that, in coming back from conquering other kings, Abraham actually gave to Melchizedek a gift of 1/10 of what he had actually taken from those other kings. So you get the whole concept of tithing coming in. So he's rather an interesting character because he does link to a lot of what Jesus followed on to do. Some people say, well, was Melchizedek Jesus in the Old Testament? So, well, no, there's no evidence to suggest that he is. But it does say that he was a man who was in the line of Melchizedek. At least Jesus followed on in the way in which Melchizedek did things. So a little bit of interesting history there. So we come to the Gospel of today, which is Mark's Gospel, chapter 3. And I mentioned that it's Mark's Gospel, chapter 3, because Mark is the shortest of the Gospels, but only 16 chapters long. And in it, we find that Jesus cures a man with a withered hand. And of course, the Pharisees get all upset about this and start plotting the demise of Jesus already in Mark's account in the 3rd chapter. So Jesus didn't take very long to start finding enemies amongst the Pharisees because of what he did. And I think in that regard, Jesus didn't seek popularity. What Jesus did was he brought us a very important message. And these days, a lot of people sort of saying, well, the church is not a popular way of going. Jesus is not all about popularity. Jesus is about the message. And if the church doesn't present to us necessarily a popular message, it doesn't mean that they're in error. So let's embrace what it is the church is telling us to do. You keep safe, and we'll see you again. God bless. Bye-bye.